What's up, guys? It's your boy DJ coming at you with something new and a review and some really good information for those of you who are into micro mobility. Okay, you guys know I got a bike called the Swagtron, right? Swagtron EB5 Pro Plus. It was a project bike that I had worked on. It came with a 36-volt system. I converted it to a 48-volt system. I changed out the controller. I got a digital display up here to help me monitor what's going on with the battery and set different parameters for this project bike here, which is a great success. Okay, but this was not my original plan. This came about because of what happened in 2019, and I'll explain it to you real quick. Then we'll get right to it. My original plan was to get this bike right here. Bam! Whoop, there it is. There it is, guys. That is a Fiido L3 folding bike. That's electric, by the way. Why was I going to get that bike? Well, because of the long range. With the battery pack, you can get, they say, up to about 75 miles or 60 to 70 miles on throttle alone at a speed of like 10 to 15 mile an hour. So that was my driving force. Long distance. So with pedaling, you can get over 100 miles in the lowest level of pedal assist with this bike. So I'm going to go over some pros and cons with this bike and tell you the truth about this bike and how I feel about it as a person who rides a lot. You know, I'm an avid motorcycle rider. At the same time, I'm into e-bikes and this and that. I had contacted Fiido a year or so ago and see if they would just let me borrow loan a bike so I could do a review, but they weren't too interested because my YouTube channel is minuscule. And I was hoping they would just send it to me and I could send it back, but they decided not to do that. Hang on a second. But anyway, they decided not to do that, so I said, well, I'll get one eventually anyway, you know. So that let you know, sometimes I think they go based off the size of your channel, which is understandable. No disrespect to Fiido or Fiido. But anyway, I eventually got the bike myself. Here it is. And I like it. Okay. Got a lot of good. Not really any bad. A couple things that I don't like about it. But we'll get right into it. Okay, let me dive right into it. Again, the COVID thing is what put everything back for me. That's why it took so long to get it. And at the time, the Swagtron was quite readily available. But anyway, Fiido L3. Nice bike. Very nice bike. Now, you're probably thinking, why too many bikes? Well, one reason is my original plan, like I said, was to get the Fiido. It has disc brakes as opposed to this traditional padded brakes on the Swagtron bike. So I got greater stopping power here. And I was going to use it to commute back and forth to work, which is like 16 miles a day. And both of these bikes, I consider them more like mopeds rather than actual bikes that I actually ride for, you know, to get exercise or whatever else. Although they can be used for that at the same time. Now, the Fiido L3, great bike, 48-volt system. You can unlock the speed, go like 20 miles an hour, depending on your weight, 19, 20 miles an hour. At the same time, my bike right there, it's 48 volt. I converted it to a 48 volt. That's a Swagtron EB5 Pro Plus. And it does great. It does maybe 22, 23 miles an hour. So it might be a little faster than this bike here. And that's probably due to the lightweight. My battery pack is no longer in the down tube on this Swagtron. It's in the luggage box back there. I got a 10 amp hour, 48 volt battery, which gets me fantastic range. But anyway, back to the Fiido. The bikes may look like they're the same size, but actually the Swagtron bike is a bit longer than the Fiido bike. It actually is a couple, maybe an inch and a half longer or less, something like that. And you have more room on the Swagtron bike as compared to the Fiido bike. Much more room. And yeah, the Fiido bike has the advantage of having the extra large battery, which is a 23.2 or 23.3 amp hour battery, which in the lower throttle settings can get you up to 70 plus miles depending on your weight. They had a guy that did a review. Forgot the name of his video, his YouTube name, but he did a real good range test on this bike. He weighed like 175, 178 pounds. He did 75 miles, 76 miles on throttle alone on this bike, which is fantastic. And that's what I was looking for. It's nice to have something that you can go super long range. This is to me, it would be a great adventure bike. Why? It's ultra portable, you know. And I'd also encourage guys to look into this as opposed to getting a scooter. I was in the valley of decision too, also with the eMove Cruiser, which is an electric scooter, and it gets it's like 60 miles or 52, about 55 miles a charge, but it doesn't have pedals. This thing here, you can use your throttle, and then your battery goes dead. At least you can pedal home. But anyway, upsides about the Fiido. Nice, very adjustable. Okay, but let's get to some negative critiques I have about the Fiido, and that is the seat. Okay, I would say this to all of you. Anybody interested in this bike, don't believe the hype. I don't know why everybody's hyping up the seat as the most comfortable seat in the world. It is not very comfortable, if you ask me. I wasn't very happy with the seat. Okay, now the original seat for the Fiido L3 or Fiido L3 is right here. It's a suspension seat post seat, and it's very short too, guys. That seat post is super short. Okay, it looks nice and everything else, but that suspension seat post is not super smooth. It's quite notchy. They have it greased pretty good, but it's just not very smooth. So what I did was I took the seat post off. I just swapped the seats. I took the seat post off the Swagtron EB5 Pro Plus and put it on the Fiidos. They're the same size seat post. And this seat post here, check this out. You have much more range with the seat post here. Look how much longer it is than the Fiido. Check it out, guys. I'm going to lay it there so you guys can see the difference. This matters, okay? Because Fiido, they brag about how people can ride this bike up to 6'2", 6'3". You can ride it as a scooter, but as a pedal bike, if you're super tall, it's not going to work out too well. So here's both of the seat posts together, guys. I'm going to line them up best I can so you guys can see what I'm talking about. You get substantially longer, substantially longer. And then it may not look like it's substantially longer, but it actually is, because when you sit on the Fiido seat post, it squishes down. So you adjust your seat to where you think it should be, but when you sit on it, it drops down. So you don't have the leg extension that you need. And actually, if you want to use a bike as a pedal bike, it's good to have as much leg extension as possible. It's good to be able to pretty much lock out your leg almost to where it's straight. Very close to being straight. Now, with this bike, with this seat post here off the Swagtron EB5 Pro Plus, you put that bad boy in there, and of course, it is not a suspension seat post, so you're going to have an accurate height adjustment in the seat, which is very crucial for those of us that are taller. Like I'm about 6 feet tall, 5'11" and a half, okay? So I'm one of the taller riders that would be riding the Fiido bike. Now understand this, I still don't have to raise the seat quite as high, because I have, again, you have more usable length on the longer tube due to the fact that it doesn't have the suspension seat post. So what I did was, and I did this a while ago for the Swagtron bike, it came with a smaller seat. Knowing that I'm going to use the bike mainly as more of a moped, I got what I call the big booty seat. Check this seat out, guys. It's a seat made by Schwinn. Look at that. It's wide. Now this seat, they'll tell you, it's not designed for a lot of pedaling. They even recommend not riding it more than an hour because it can mess up your gait, I guess. So, but this makes a great cruise around seat, guys. Great cruise around seat for the Fiido. It's not the best seat in the world. As you can see, that little retainer thing came off. I got to fix that, or try to. But anyway, you get more usable seat height adjustment due to the fact that it's not a dropper seat post. All is not well with the Fiido seat, guys. And I'd like to say that to Fiido, guys, you need to, I would recommend using a standard seat post as opposed to that suspension seat post. It's not very comfortable. And to me, that seat just wasn't that comfortable. I was very disappointed. I heard all this, and I ride more than most guys. I ride motorcycles. I'm an avid motorcycle rider, as I mentioned, and Well, I got probably 6 different bikes, electric bikes. I got a full suspension electric mountain bike. So I'm really into this crap. Put it this way, I got over 7,000 miles, coming up on 8,000 miles on e-bikes. You know, so you get a real sense of what will work and what won't work. And that seat post, that dropper seat post thing is crap. You know, maybe if you're, I'm like 200 pounds, 205 pounds, and it's not comfortable. I'll say it again. That seat is not comfortable. That seat right there from Walmart for 30 bucks, along with the Swagtron EB5 Pro Plus seat post, makes this bike much more what? Comfortable. That's right. That's right. Okay, guys. What else do I have to say about the Fiido bike? I like it. But if you have a tighter budget and, you know, you don't mind having traditional cable brakes or padded brakes, this Swagtron EB5 Pro Plus, guys, is an awesome bike stock. It has, for taller riders, it's more comfortable for taller riders than this Fiido bike. Okay? It is. You have more space in there. It's just a more comfortable bike if you're going to pedal. Or if you just want a little more room, but at the same time, it's not much bigger than this bike. It's just how they designed it. You got a little more length there to for your knees. You gotta have much more area. A bit more room for your knees. The Swagtron EB5 Pro Plus bike rack I added there to mount my extension battery. So what you can do also with this bike is use this down tube for storage. So store tools or whatever you might need on the road. A pump or whatever else, because that tube is hollowed out. So anyway, guys, what am I going to do to this Fiido electric bike? Well, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be installing a luggage box on it. That's right. This right here is a GV luggage box I use on my motorcycles. Well, with this tray here, you know, it's not locked down yet, but I mocked it up to show you guys what you can do with this. With this tray here, I'm going to be able to mount this luggage box on here just like this. And it will be, and what's nice about it is, you see, hang them, lock it in there a little bit. Yeah, it may look extreme, but that's okay. That's the way I roll. Show you guys that it will work. Okay, hang on a second, guys. Hang on. Let me drop it down. All right, let me lock it real quick, so you guys can kind of get the full look of it, so you guys can kind of see. The seat's not going to be up that high, but just to show you, there you go. Fiido L3 with luggage box. Yeah, it's a big luggage box, but that's the way I roll, guys. You know, and what's nice about this luggage box here, this GV luggage box is, it is removable. So I don't have to leave it on the bike. I can lock it on the bike or not. Okay? So that's one of the modifications that I'm going to be doing for the bike. And that's one reason I got this bike, is because I love the fact that the frame, that the rack is integrated into the frame, which means you can support more weight. This right here, I had to do, it's not so much. I mean, it's great for light luggage. Light luggage, maybe up to 30 pounds, maybe 40 pounds. But, you know, you have to be careful, make sure you don't smooth pavements with the Swagtron, with that box hanging off like that. But it works great, guys. Big ups to Swagtron. But this bike right here, the rack is integrated into the frame, is what I really like. And like I said, this was my first choice. Okay? This was actually my first choice. Is the Fiido bike better than the Swagtron? I would say that it's not better. That's right, I said it. Not better. It has some things that I do like, but I do like the fact that it has disc brakes. Okay? That's great. Okay? What else? I like the fact that it has fenders and the super large battery. The Swagtron I had to modify to be able to get the super long range, but I can get it. You know, it's more of a Franken bike. But I would tell anybody, if you want a nice, small electric bike, inexpensive, Swagtron EB5 Pro Plus is an awesome bike. It used to be like $450, but when COVID came, they upped the price to like $550. But it's worth every dime. This is almost double that, almost. What else don't I like about the Fiido bike? Also, I don't like this deal with the key, Fiido, whatever. Okay, here's the deal. You have to have a key to turn on the bike, which is kind of cool. I wish they would have had it up here like a traditional type, you know, like a motorcycle or whatever else, or yeah, I just think because you know most people are going to have more keys on their keychain than just a Fiido key, you know. So I did something different. You guys probably think I'm crazy for doing this, but that's okay. That's okay, but this is the way I roll. I don't ever plan on leaving this outside of the bike rack. I'll take this bike in the store with me. That's where I got it, because it's so small. I did was I mounted the key. See there? Yeah, that's right. The key is mounted onto the bike. I rigged it up like that. Why? It's because I will lose that key. I know me. I will lose the key to this bike, okay? So, you can see it works fine. I can put it in there. There we go. Turn it on. The bike is on. But I don't ever have to worry about losing my key, right? And then again, I don't have to have, like say I have a big wad of keys, 10 keys, and I don't have to stick that in and have that dangling back and forth, right? I just did a permanent install with the key there. Works fine. There you go. Off, pop it out, boom. It just dangles there. Okay, you guys might think that's crazy, but it's not crazy because nobody wants to, Fiido, nobody wants to have all their keys and try to stick them in there and make it work. It just will be a headache. Let me give you an example. Hang on a second. To show you how much of a headache that can be for somebody. Okay, let's just say traditionally, I have my keys, my truck keys, right? And see, I have the Fiido bike key on here. I went, oh, okay, I'm gonna ride my Fiido bike, and I don't stick the key in there. Look at that, guys. Who wants that? Really? You're riding? Yeah, you're riding, got all these other keys dangling. Yeah. So what I decided to do was rig it up like that. I use the band, whatever you want to call it, to go around the frame, and I got this little, yeah. And there you go. The key will always be on the bike. I don't have to ever worry about losing the key. Great. Okay, next. Okay, I don't really have a bunch of other things to say. You know, the bike is fantastically portable. It's light as far as an e-bike is concerned. I mean, I think it's 38 pounds, something like that. So just call it 40 pounds. I like it a lot, guys. But the biggest upgrade that I would tell anybody to do to this bike is change. If you can get this, I think the seat post is a 34 millimeter. Check it out, guys. This is the Fiido seat post. I'm not going to be using the seat post. I'm probably going to take the seat off because on this bike, you can see it, the seat can be removed, okay? This latch and everything was really cool, nice design, but the seat can actually be removed. And I may try the seat again on this bike and see if I can get another seat post that's not non-suspension. But I believe the seat post here is 34 millimeter. 34 millimeter long. Let me see if I can focus on it. Yeah, see right there? Okay, hang on. You guys might be able to pause and zoom in, but yeah. Can't hardly get it. But anyway, it says 34 on there. I'm assuming it's a 34 millimeter seat post. So, yeah. So again, it may look like the seat post is fairly long with all this added onto it. But in reality is, you lose a lot of that length because of the suspension. When you sit on it, it drops down. Okay, guys, I don't want to get too repetitive, bore you guys to death. Again, I'm just trying to give you some insight. The light is great. Good job, Fiido. You have the light incorporated on the bike. And also, it also has the rear light in the back, which will, well, let me get down. It's not lit up, but the rear light in the back, which is nice. That will keep you safe. Nice fenders, too. Good job on the fenders, Fiido. So, there you go, guys. I hope I gave you some good information on that, on the Fiido bike. Back to the Swagtron for a minute. If you're interested in doing what I did, go back and watch my videos on the Swagtron EB5 Pro Plus build I did. I got like 6 videos on this bike. Very good information because the controller that I'm using is waterproof. It's right there, guys. It's a waterproof controller. Okay, I got it from the guys in Canada. I keep forgetting the name of the shop. Sorry. It just ain't. Hang on a second. Let me think. Name of the shop in Canada. Oh, anyway, it's the Phase Runner. The Phase Runner, but this is the base runner version of it, which means it has a very slim profile and it slides right in there. It's like a $178 controller, but it is potted and waterproof. Okay, so those of you e-bike makers out there, you may want to look into that because it makes totally no sense that in 2003 we can't buy an e-bike and you guys cannot tell us that they're 100% waterproof. That's crazy. That doesn't make any sense, guys. I have a moped, a 1978 moped, okay? It's 100% waterproof. I drive that thing in the rain or whatever else. It sits outside, speedometer still works, doesn't fog up, anything. Why? You know, you guys need to step your game up. All you guys that make these e-vehicles, step your game up, because these batteries aren't cheap for these bikes to replace. Everybody's overpricing the batteries for these bikes. And you guys need to give a good 4 to 5 year warranty on your batteries, I feel, as long as there's no water ingress, you know? Look into that, all you makers of these e-bikes and stuff. Everybody seems to want to shy away to say that their bikes are waterproof. And, of course, we know that means you can't submerge them. But at least try, because these batteries aren't cheap. Okay, guys, I think I gave you all the important information. I covered the rack, what I'm doing there with my Fiido bike. What else? Also, yes, this is very important, guys. One of the most important things. How does it ride? It rides good, of course, at very slow speeds, because Fiido, if you guys are listening, you put too small of a sprocket on that bike. The Fiido L3, the sprocket in the rear is too small. I believe they call it ghost pedaling when you get pedaling so much with the, so fast with the, you know, the motor that you're just spinning your wheels and going nowhere, but you're still moving. But anyway, that's a size 16 sprocket back there, right? Look at that. Now look at the Swagtron. Look how much smaller the sprocket is, guys. That's like probably a 14 tooth sprocket on the rear. And the Swagtron bike actually rides, you get better speeds from the Swagtron when you just have a basic pedal cadence like 1, 2, 1, 2. You know, if you measure your feet from top to bottom of the stroke, something like that, you get, about 12 mile an hour, 10 to 12 mile an hour. This bike right here, at a steady pedal cadence, is like 8. So they need to get a smaller sprocket in the rear or a bigger sprocket in the front. One of the two. So you can have a better pedal cadence and better speeds, guys. Okay, guys, I think I've given you some good information, some pertinent information about the Fiido bike. Again, the seat is not all that, guys, at all. So let me be the first to tell you, I don't like the seat the way it feels much, especially with that dropper. It makes it very uncomfortable for me. You're better off to get with Swagtron, and if you can, and see if you can get your hands on the EB5 Pro Plus seat post. It's a direct fit, guys, and you get much more height out of your seat without the thing bouncing up and down. And then also, too, guys, this is a cheap seat from Walmart. A little cheap. I call it the big booty seat. But it works great for these type of bikes when you don't plan on doing a lot of pedaling and you just want to use these bikes more as more of a moped style bike. That seat does really good. So I would recommend changing the seat. And I'm also looking into changing that rear sprocket back there. I need to drop it lower. If I can get a 13 or 14, you can only go so small with these bikes. That's what I'll do. But I'm looking at least getting a 14 tooth on there. Whatever Swagtron is using, that's what I want to use, because this bike right here does real well when you pedal it. You feel like you're going somewhere. This bike here, you pedal it, you're doing 7 to 8 miles an hour. That's without the motor. That's not fast enough. Okay, that's how I feel. All right, guys. I'll end this video because it got kind of lengthy, like 23 minutes later.